De som är svenska, vi kommer att köra på engelska för att flest möjligen ska kunna få nytta av presentationen. Good afternoon. We will do this in English for the benefit of the most people. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Neil Other. I represent Modular Mining Systems out of Tucson, Arizona. And I'm going to talk to you about Dispatch Underground, which is our underground fleet management system. Our history of innovation goes back until 1979. Modular is today considered the market leader in fleet management system for mines, be it open pit or underground. We started in the open pit with an optimization algorithm that let you utilize your mobile assets better to move more ore with the same amount of equipment. Our Dispatch Underground system was developed and the first commercial install was in 1989. So we have, quite frankly, a long history both in the underground environment and also in the open pit. We've now managed over 600 billion tons in our 35-year career. We do nothing but fleet management for mine. This is our only industry, our only business. We have over 600 employees worldwide and many head offices. We have now actually all these head offices, but we also have many satellite offices depending on the local requirements for support. And as of recently, we have started a Swedish office with a presence in Umeå. So, underground fleet management. Why do we need an underground fleet management? Well, it's to address these challenges that are fairly unique to the underground environment. In the underground environment, we have difficulty communicating. We don't know where the equipment is. We have difficulty in measuring production tracking. Usually we'll use paper, we'll have paper notes, somebody has to read them, somebody has to translate them, somebody has to enter them into some sort of production tracking system. It's difficult to track the time tracking, utilization tracking. Progressing is difficult to measure the progress, be it a loader, be it a driller, and so forth. And the operational visibility, because it's an underground mine, is more challenging than an open pit where you can simply go onto the pit and look down. So, how can Dispatch Underground help in this area? Well, the various categories of modules, we have inventory management, so we can track the ore by location. We know where the ore came from, we know who loaded it, we know which truck took it to which location. We can help with providing you the ore pass mass balance at any given time. We obviously have these manual overrides for all these things as is expected. The crew management portion helps with the scheduling, lineup utility, so the scheduling of equipment, who needs to work what equipment, where is this equipment, and when you come to a shift start, where should this operator go? It's coupled with the training records, so we know which operator is qualified to run which piece of equipment. And of course, each operator has the option of being having the analysis performed of the work, the manual work, analysis of the equipment, and you can associate key performance indicator with each piece of equipment if you so wish. Now, when we track the material, we know, for instance, from the once we blast, the geologist will come to the muck and give us the material type, give us the grade. This is put into the system, and as this is loaded and transported, these grades are tracked through the entire mine. So we know what loader loaded which piece of which ore from which location, which truck it went into, and where it was dumped. Now, maybe important, more or less important for some mines depending on how they do. For instance, if you do blending, you really do want to know what kind of grade you got in which stockpile so you then can have the correct feed into the plant. The fleet management portion of it is really about production task management, time tracking, location management. So we're tracking the tasks. The drill, the loader, the trucks needs to do these certain tasks. We know where they should be done, how they should be done, and a central operator in a control room will know when it's been done and whether or not it's been done correctly. For instance, if a loader has been tasked with loading material from a certain stope and tries to load from a different stope, this will be known to the central operating room in real time. And you can then choose to have a corrective action. You can get on the radio, you can say, why are you loading from stope number 17? Your work order says you should be loading from stope 20, whatever. We track the time. The location management is we track the status of the location. For instance, when you're doing development, what is the status of this phase? You'll drill, you'll charge, you'll blast, you'll muck, you'll reinforce. What status is this particular location? Block case may use it to indicate the status, for instance, of a draw point. Is it available? Is it hung up, for instance? We have mobile supervisors application. We have certain maintenance feature and safety features built in as well, which I'll talk about. The system is applicable to all mining operations. We have it in cut and fill, we have it in block cavings, we have it in stoping operations. The mining method does not really affect the value of the system to a user. It will affect how the user will use the system. It's applicable to any type of underground equipment. LHDs and underground trucks have specific features on them that help them complete the tasks that they do on a daily basis. But we also have generic mobile applications. So some of our customers have the equipment, have a dispatch underground system on every piece of equipment. They have it on the supervisor's truck, on the scissor lifts, they have it on the ANFO trucks, they have it on the personnel carrier, the graders, the backhoe excavators, anything. So, we talked about the equipment files. We'll have further advancements in 2015 for addition feature for development drills, production drills, and bolters, and ANFO trucks as well. Now, one of the big things that dispatch gives you immediately, that's obvious to the first user, is the insight into the mine you get. Now you have a way of seeing what's going on. You have a graphical representation of your mine. In this case, this is a block cave. And you will see the equipment in real time in this block cave. You're able to query the equipment for what the status is, what it's doing, what kind of material it's hauling, etc. So you would hover over the equipment, and here's a pop-up menu. For instance, for the left, there's the truck utility. You can see the truck number, who's operating it, what grade it's carried, what type of material, where it was taken from. You can see the lock says where it's supposed to be dumped to, and a number of other things. You can check the fuel. Depending on the options you choose to employ, there's a variety of information that you can get. Similar from the LHDs, we know the location. It's at face S100B, where it's supposed to dump to. This is supposed to dump down to a chute into an ore pass, and it's working in panel 42. So these are all identifying information that's applicable to that particular mine. And you can see how much it's loaded. The last action was that it was ready to work, it wasn't currently working, and the next action is first bucket. So it's going to go in. So these are very, very detailed informations. There's more, but this will give you an idea of the capacity of the system. The safety aspect of it, this is one of the safety aspects where we can make the operator check the equipment before he starts. We can also apply this to a location check, so the operator can check, in addition to his vehicle, as he starts the shift, he can also check the location. Is there ventilation? Has the location been scaled, etc.? Now, so how are we able to do this? Well, Dispatch Underground is a system. It's a system that consists of hardware, a computer server, and software. Top left, we have a central control computer. That's where the dispatcher sits. That's where the dispatcher gets all the information from all the equipment in real time. We have, bottom left, a mobile device that serves as the brain in the mobile application, but also serves as the display unit to the operator. We have an RFID tag reader, which is the positioning system we use, and we have a wireless communication network. We will use whatever communication network the mine has There is obviously a caveat that the communication system needs to be adequate. However, we also have method for dealing with communication systems that are less than perfect. Wi-Fi, VHF leaky feeder, UHF leaky feeder, 800 megahertz distributed antenna system, 900 megahertz meshing. There's no problem using any communication as long as it's reasonably good coverage, it's reasonably robust, and you have a reasonable bandwidth to spare. Now, if you don't have a perfect communication system, it doesn't matter. If for some reason the equipment is working in an area where you don't have communication, all the information, including the position of the equipment, the activities, the status, are stored on board in the mobile computer. And once you get into range again, this is automatically downloaded to the server. We actually have our own computer. It's not because we wish to make computers, but after 35 years in this industry, we have not found any OEM computers that will hold up in a mine, let alone an underground mine. So we have had this manufactured especially for us with a German company, because this meets specifications that are higher than any OEM equipment you can buy in the market. Knowing where everything is, knowing where everything's going, obviously, historically, this will all compile into reports. We have a variety of reports that will tell management, what have we done this day? What's the production numbers for this shift, for the last few shifts, for the last month? All the details, all the material, tracking the material, where was it loaded, where's it going to, and blending information, all these different. So there's a variety of reports that you can call up from a SQL database. So, with Dispatch Underground, the system will provide mine managers, supervisors, owners access to comprehensive reports on the operation of the mine, broken down into individual shift and into user-defined time period. So this is the reporting side on it. For the real-time aspect, you gain better decision-making through the availability of accurate and timely information. These are things that you cannot get anywhere else. Today, underground mines usually work on paper reports. People will be calling up over the radio to give reports. Somebody may be typing that into some sort of record-keeping system as it's spoken. The problem with that is you cannot verify the data. If you're going to use data to make better decisions for your mine, to improve the performance of the mine, then that data should be reliable. And that data is actually not reliable if the source of the data is handwritten paper notes that are given at shift end, or if it's information that's called in over the radio. Only with a positioning system and a computer to keep track of the locations do you know for sure that you are loading material from the right stope, that you know you're dumping material in the right dump. The positioning system is tried and true, and it consists of RFID tags. The big difference is, in order to use RFID, to use it well, you have to have mobile readers and stationary tags. Now, it's easy to think about this as an extension of a personnel tracking system where you have stationary readers and each worker has a mobile tag. That does not work for production tracking because the coarseness of the positioning system becomes too much. It becomes cost prohibitive to have a fixed reader with communication and power set up all around the mine. With a reverse system where you have mobile readers on the equipment and you have stationary tag, you have $10 tags that are completely passive that you can put anywhere in the mine. If you want to have a high resolution positioning system, you simply put up all these tags where you need them, at the stope, at the intersection, wherever you want. That's the only way to get a reliable positioning system underground. Now, that was very briefly what I had. We've been doing this for 35 years. To try to cram this into a 15 minutes presentation is quite challenging. But I'd welcome the opportunity to talk to each and every one of you in Swedish or English, whatever you want. We're located right down here at the end of the hall, and our name is Modular Mining, and I look forward to talking to you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.